What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. Right off the bat, I want to say, first off, it's the 9th of January, 8 hours left in the day. We're at 91.2K right now, just all the standard stuff. But right off the bat, I just want to offer a thought here as far as like what the most basic level of technical analysis can be, where you don't use any indicators, you're just using your eyeballs. Notice, and this is not a perfect thought, okay? It's a statistically probably backed thought, like statistically probable backed thought, okay? But this is not a guarantee. What I'm about to say, this does not mean every single time that the price is going to go up. But just pay attention and tell me if it doesn't make logical sense to you, right? Notice how from here, from this point of resistance, notice first and foremost that this point of resistance is basically in the same area as this point of resistance, is basically in the same area as this point of resistance, is basically in the same area as this, right? We're finding resistance time and time again, at least 4 times now, at this same area. This one is the highest, this one is the lowest, but more or less it's in the same area. Can we all agree? Okay. So, finding resistance in this area, we pulled all the way back down to here. When we found resistance a little bit higher, we pulled back down to here. Whenever we found resistance all the way up here, we pulled back down to here. Now we are finding resistance in the same area. Barely went above these highs, and yet we are getting higher lows, right? The thing that I'm pointing out here is that the reaction from this same area has gotten weaker to the downside, right? Imagine you're trying to go lower, and you bounce. And then you go lower, and then you try to go lower again, and then you bounce, but it's not as strong. And then you try to bounce, and it's not as strong. It's kind of like a descending triangle. It's a descending structure, right? It's like we have an ascending triangle here, and we basically do. Or some type of channel, some type of range, whatever you want to call it. But the reality, the very simple thing that I'm trying to address here is the reaction we've had here has been stronger the times before, and now it is weaker. Now, not only are we having a weaker reaction, which in itself to me, hold on, I just ate some peanuts, and man, that one got stuck in my throat there. I love peanuts, by the way. They're really good for you. Who is it that said there's something like associated with peanuts and longevity? They found that societies, civilizations that had peanuts in their diets had longer lifespans historically. I don't know if that's some dude smarter than me figured that out, but they say an apple a day, maybe a peanut a day, or a couple peanuts a day. Anyways, I got sidetracked. I don't know where I was. All I'm trying to say is this in itself is bullish. This in itself, the weaker reaction is bullish. But when you pair that with our eyeballs, at prior resistance, you're now finding support. Right? Now you're finding support at prior resistance. Now we can use our indicators. We look at the low to the high. You're finding support at the 382. Right? Whenever you look at all these things together, the bullish case just really builds and builds and builds. And you can see here, right? Here, when we broke out, there was no volume. We did not increase in volume at all, did we? No, we did not. Absolutely not. But here, when we broke out of here, we broke out and we did this move recently, volume did pick up just a little bit, but it did pick up. We're still in this range overall, so we don't need the volume doesn't have to be explosive yet, but it will be, and when we move up, that will validate the move. But very simply, just looking at this again, I'm bullish here because of the very weak reaction, the very expected reaction that we had. The 382 right there, just barely, we went just barely above 89K, perfect area to find support. Let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll go from there. Screw it. We're on the daily time frame. Let's just do this real quick. I think, because I feel like we built up to this moment, why not cut to the chase? I think, and look at that, we found support right at the 236. 382, 236, now it's time to go to the golden ratio. And this, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, what do I know? But I've been doing technical analysis since 2015, and the bread and butter to my analysis, every analyst is different. Every analyst uses different indicators, and all indicators, if used properly, can be used successfully, right? But for me, that is the Fibonacci tool, the Fibonacci retracement tool. This is my bread and butter. This is what I've grown up with as far as technical analysis goes in my experience doing this. I'm telling you this as a fact. when you go from the 382, and we didn't hit the 382, we got so close, but we missed it, and that's fair, but that's true. Nonetheless, I would consider that an interaction at the 382. When you go to the 382 and you pull back to the 236, this interaction, I would say maybe 70%, maybe 80% of the time, somewhere in that kind of range, reacts. It often gives us a golden ratio movement. It's not that we won't find a little turbulence here and there. It's not like we have to just move up in a straight line. Maybe we do. Maybe it's tomorrow and we're all the way up here. I don't know. But the idea that I'm getting from this fib, going from the 382 to the 236, would call for the golden ratio next. And this lines up exactly with the thoughts that I've been having, even without looking at this fib, that this area is too obvious. Now, with that being said, Bitcoin has been finding a lot of resistance at its 0.5 level. A lot of resistance and support throughout this whole cycle. It's been respecting that level dramatically. We look at this, from a relative high here to a relative low. You found a lot of resistance here at this 0.5. You found some resistance at the golden ratio too. We found support. I think this was a 0.5 retracement. There's various times throughout the cycle since 2023 began. Since 2023 began, we found significance at the 0.5. So it's completely possible that we do stop at 100K, 101K, psychological resistance, prior areas of closing resistance right there, and it's the 0.5. There's enough legitimacy and things to give resistance there for us to find resistance there. I think that's too obvious. I think everybody's aware of this level because it's the nearest level, and I think that we will mess with people and go just a little bit further. Right? A move like this to here, if you're bearish, won't make you FOMO because you're expecting to find resistance there and come down. But if a move goes just past it and something unexpected happens, the whole narrative shifts. People become bullish in a very panicky kind of way, a very FOMO kind of way, and then we'll sell off. I'm just thinking that we will go up to this golden ratio zone, which is literally defined at this $106.3 thousand level. And this says 109.8K, but let's just call it 110K. 106.3, 110K, somewhere in this area. And we have resistance here, we have support here. This line, even without the fibs, this level here, let me use a horizontal line. This level here, and then the wick, this little range, is a lot more significant. This is way more significant than this level is here. Dramatically more significant than this level is here. So I think that's where we're going to go, and it's the golden ratio overall. That's the expectation. We can look at the short-term stuff now. 1 hour time frame looks kind of bullish here. It's a lot of volume. It's kind of odd, but whatever. It is Friday. It's kind of funny. Earlier this week, on like Monday or Tuesday, I want to say, we were calling for a pullback, consolidation until Thursday, Friday, and then we'd probably pump over the weekend. And then I said if we didn't pump over the weekend, we would pump early next week. So if we don't pump over the coming days, today included, then we will pump Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And that ties into something else that I talked about last week. If you guys don't remember, we talked about how when Bitcoin is in, and crypto as a whole is in these moments where we're surging, where we're moving up, when we're in these moments like this, when we're in these bullish trends, not the consolidation phases, but the bullish trends, moments like this, these are the times when Bitcoin does pump over the weekend, right? Friday, so Saturday, Sunday here, we pumped. Oftentimes, whenever we're in these growth phases, why can't I talk? Hold on. When we're in these growth phases, we do see weekend pumps. And it's not just this cycle that we've seen it. This is my third cycle. I've seen that happen every cycle. When we're in these strong predominant moves, we typically do leave gaps behind on the CME. And we move up over the weekend. That's actually something that happens. So it's not completely crazy to think that by the end of the weekend, by the end of Sunday, we could be breaking out of this range. We could be above 95, 96. Maybe we're at 100K. Who knows? But regardless if it happens over the weekend or not, maybe that part's not true. Who knows? Next week, we should be, I think, making strides higher. Next week, you guys, well, let me put this in perspective for you. It's the 9th right now. Next week ends on the 18th. Okay, that's the next week's end is on Sunday. By that time, by the 18th, 9 days from now, we could be up at about 106 to 110K. probably closer to this 106 to 107.5K area. I'm thinking we do find resistance here, but we could wick a little bit above it. Probably not below. I would think that we probably do go past this first line. I don't know if we go past the second one, but if we do, not too far past it. And if it's not by the end of the week, by the end of the month, that's fine. But it seems as though exactly what we've been expecting for a very long time now is that the middle or end of January is likely going to be very exciting. It's likely going to be very exciting. I, for one, am very excited. We'll see how it goes. There is, and something else to pay attention to. I don't know if it's worth paying attention to, but it's something that I've had my eyes on for a second. Is the MicroStrategy open interest, the expiration dates on basically one of the largest expiries as far as open interest goes for calls and for puts. If you don't know, this is like options trading, right? I don't know how accurate this data is, but it's pretty accurate. I know that it's fairly accurate. I don't know if it's 100% guaranteed. Most of these indicators, these data tracking services, if they're free, they're not the best representations, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Right? They're not just making things up. On the 16th of January, which is 7 days, a week from now, guys. We got 1 week until the biggest expiry happens. It doesn't seem significant, but let me tell you, this is freaking huge. This is significant. There's a lot of people who are going to get creamed on this, and I think from that time forward, we will see puts start to outweigh longs, and at that point, that's when MSTR will start to pump. Why does MSTR matter for Bitcoin? It's the largest single entity custodian of Bitcoin in the world. What's good for Bitcoin is good for MSTR and vice versa. If MSTR is expected to pump after the 16th, Bitcoin is probably going to pump too. That's just my thoughts. And we've been talking about that for months now. I've got nothing else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I was going to do short-term stuff, but I feel like it's pointless now. We know where we're going, right? we know where we're going. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, I don't really get a lot off the 1 hour. It looks kind of neutral, but bearish. 4 hour looks more bullishly postured for sure. Yes, this looks really good. I think we will move up out of this. It just doesn't have to be right this second, but today probably, if not tomorrow, we will be moving up. And the daily time frame also looks phenomenal. Bouncing off the 50 on the stochastics. If today closes green and then we continue to move up, we will bounce off the 50, I should say. The MACD is crossing above the 0. Typically, that does good things for the price. Typically, that does really good things for the price when you cross above the 0 on the daily MACD. And the RSI, we're looking to get into this. We are looking to get into the overbought zone on this next run. And typically, when you get in the overbought zone, you look to break out of a relative range. In other words, guys, the next move up should be the breakout. And when we break out, we're not stopping here. We're going to probably 106.3K to 110K. That's the area. Something just above this high. That's my guess. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. I'm going to drink some water. Bye-bye.